What is going on? How is everybody's Thanksgiving? I hope you all had a good holiday. Hope everybody stayed safe out there. Nobody caught the plague. I hope it was pretty low key, not, a bunch of stressful family situations like some weird drunk xenophobic grandfather or maybe a smelly uncle or something like that. So we got a good show today, all football talk. Great show today. And so instead of sitting here and babbling on, I think we should just start the show.
Birdie, you should download GTA after we get off.
I will. All right, welcome to this episode of Stone Sports. I am your host, Bert, a.k.a. the Gutter Boy, a.k.a. Bertleby, a.k.a. the Teenage Mutant Ninja Bertle. With me, as always, I have my co-host, Double. Say what up, Dubs. And my co-host as well, Meech. Say what up, Meech.
What up? Every time you do those nicknames, dude, I just fucking cancel. Like, after the second one,
I was prepared for 3, and there's 5.
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Bertle is it's a stretch.
That's a
super tight though, dude. Like that was, I'm fucking. You can tell I'm a '90s kid. That was tight, bro.
So rad. So how was the Thanksgiving, boys?
It was good. I ate super late. Woke up really tired the next day. We already talked about this. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, I swear I ate a plate like every hour for like 4 hours, and then I just went home and slept. And I've been
had one
like farting for like 4
plate.
days straight.
Yeah, that's.
I fucking had, like, I was good the day of. I had 2 plates, which is fine, not like huge or anything. And then I took like a trough home, like one of those metal fucking plates, like not metal plates, but metal like trays.
Yeah, the like baking trays. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took one of those. And literally within the next day, I ate like the whole fucking trough of food is what we're gonna call it.
Yeah.
So I've been much better today. I've eaten like one thing today because I'm just like, I need to lose the weight that I just added.
Yeah, same, bro. Same. I've been doing that today too. Fucking Sked came home with like the same shit. He had like this fucking trough is such a good word for it. It's just like the slop of like all this food, and he just put the whole tray in the oven and then pulled it out and just like ate it periodically all day until it was gone. It was fucking amazing.
And that was my plan initially, and I was like, well, maybe if I just microwave it, I'll eat less. No, same result. Fucking, and trough is an appropriate word because that's exactly what the fuck that is for a human being. Like
for
that
sure,
big of food, like
yeah.
Jesus.
And then like,
but I did it.
And then like, you ever eat that much food and then you stop and you think about like, holy shit, there's like 4 pounds of food in my stomach. Yeah. I do that all the time and then I feel bad about myself.
I'm gonna be on the shitter all day tomorrow. Just constantly on the shitter tomorrow.
I ate food. I got to the top of the stairs and I was like, ugh. My mom was like, oh, what's the deal? And I was like, the stairs were a fucking struggle. And then I looked over the railing and saw that my phone was still on the counter. And I was like, shit on
the worst has happened.
Well, talking about a struggle, we could talk about the Detroit-Houston game on Thanksgiving. That shit was fucking dog shit. It was the only game I watched. And then I told Double off air again. I asked my dad, I was like, so do you want to watch the Cowboys game? And he was just like, nah. And so we just like watched a documentary about the Stanley Cup. But yeah, that game was a shit show. As, all Houston games are. They're just boring to watch. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They're just boring to watch, dude.
The only bright spot on that team is Deshaun Watson. He proved it once again. He went 17 for 25, 318 yards and 4 touchdowns. In his last 6 games, he is 141 for 200, 70% completion. 1,750 yards, 16 total touchdowns, and 0 turnovers. So he's just throwing that team on his back, and Houston has picked up a couple wins here in a row because of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually entertaining to watch this way. Like, this version of him without Billy O'Brien fucking controlling what he does. I feel like he's just so entertaining to watch. Also, J.J. Watt looked like old form J.J. Watt, man. He had a fumble and a touchdown. Fumble recovery, forced fumble recovery, and the touchdown. So he looked vintage as well. And yeah, now 4-3 since firing O'Brien. And you have to look at that team and say that made a difference. It seems to have changed the whole feel of the team.
You know what will make a difference? The record for the draft pick, because Miami has both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. Educate me.
Miami, the Dolphins have the Texans' first and second round picks.
Oh, no.
In a trade that they made for Stills, who they just released, and the left tackle,
Laramie
Tunsil.
Tunsil.
Yep.
Best lungs in the business.
Best lungs in the business.
As you recall, he was caught on video during the draft. Not during the draft. This was previous footage of him.
Right.
But hitting the bong as soon as he got selected.
Gas mask
Ba-da-dum,
bong.
boom.
But
Cue the
music.
They gave up the first and second round pick for those. So yeah, as bad as they are, they won't even benefit from it this year. And this is what we talked about last week. It's just, that sucks. Like, when your team is bad and can't benefit from it, that sucks. The only bright light is that, like I said, since they've gotten rid of him, they've looked like a different team, looked and felt like a different team. Deshaun Watson is once again, up there in most people's top 10. He's entertaining to watch. So, yeah, and as another result of that game, the Lions actually decided to part ways with their GM and their coach. So we brought it up.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, we brought it up last week. I asked the question, when do they start looking at firing him? Because they had no business losing last week, and they didn't even show up this week. So
and that's why you made such a big deal out of it in the group chat. Because I was like, you came in like super hot. It's like, oh, you called it. I get it. Meet Stradamus.
Exactly. Meet Stradamus is my new name.
Yeah, it is. For sure. The mother of Chechnya, Meet Stradamus. It's pretty good. All right, how about the Washington Football Club, I'm sorry, and Dallas game? I did not watch it. So how was that?
I watched more of this game than the Lions-Texans game.
Mm-hmm.
My pick was wrong. I picked Dallas. They laid a fucking egg. Alex Smith should 1,000% win Comeback Player of the Year. He hasn't been amazing, but he's played like an NFL quarterback in every game he's been in. Antonio Gibson,
and
you know what he did?
Came back from, almost dying or getting his leg amputated. That's a pretty big deal, I think.
Right. You know what Antonio Gibson did on Thanksgiving, boys?
Pooped off?
Went for the turkey. 3 touchdowns, 20 carries, 115 yards. McLaurin added in the receiving game with 7 catches and 92, and the defense stepped up with 4 sacks on Andy Dalton. Did you see Andy Dalton's run on 3rd and 10 where he dove forward for the first down?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either, because
I thought he was gonna get concussed again. He dove forward head first over the line through 3 Washington people and somehow didn't get hit.
Dude, if I have a running quarterback, I am making sure the baseball coach teaches them how to fucking slide, dude.
Yeah. For real.
Also, bro, Meech, like a minute ago when you said pooped off, I didn't get that you were saying popped off, and I was like, why are we talking about poop?
Oh, yeah, no, Antonio Gibson had 34 points or something like that in fantasy.
Yeah, he went off. Didn't? Zeke, another fumble. 10 carries, 32 yards. The fumble. Rushing yards were 182 to 60 in Washington's favor, which is not what you expect with Antonio Gibson and Zeke playing in this, those your starting running backs. A person who's not super educated on sports would probably be like, Zeke is 182 to 60. No, not the case.
Yeah, he has looked not great this year. Although, once again, Zach Martin out for the Cowboys, someone I thought who would play, which kind of played a role in my decision picking them last week, and I'm sure as well as yours, because they look like a different team the game he started.
Yeah, we touched on that briefly last week, and I was in agreement with you. Zach Martin is a huge part of the Dallas run game, and if he's not there, it's not going to be nearly as effective.
Yeah, for sure. And he was a game time decision that he wasn't going to play, so that really, that really worried me, because I know both of us were kind of on the fence with this game anyway, just because of how shitty the NFC East has looked. And Washington, They look like they play hard. I will say one thing. It looks like the Cowboys didn't respond to the smashing watermelons as well this week as they did last week, right? That was like the biggest story, right?
Yeah.
What happened with watermelons?
Last week, it came out that their coach, Mike McCarthy, smashed watermelons to motivate the team in a Gallagher style performance.
Yeah.
And that was the whole story, because this will tell you how much people talk about the Cowboys for no goddamn reason.
Right.
That was like the story going, he's a motivator. He smashed watermelons.
Hold on.
Performance of the century, Mike McCarthy.
Oh my god.
Watermelon smashing.
Mike McCarthy mixes it up by smashing watermelons in a Gallagher style routine.
Oh my god. That literally almost killed me. I laughed so hard at that. That's
I read
that
drunk
ridiculous.
the other night and laughed for like a solid 5 minutes.
Interestingly enough, he did it to Smashing Pumpkins, so that'll tell you. I mean, he was just all about mixing the smashing things.
I mean, there's no
all over the place.
watermelon band. I don't know of one, and I know a lot. So if there's a watermelon band and someone out there wants to, you know what's gonna happen? Someone's gonna just go Google watermelon band and tweet it at us and be like, "You fucking idiot."
That's true.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
I mean,
I'm
think
here for it
gonna
anyway.
Appreciate my Smashing Pumpkins reference.
I did appreciate your Smashing Pumpkins reference.
Well, I mean,
I'm
the
proud
audience,
of you.
though.
To quote
better
you,
than
do
Creed.
you want a fucking cookie?
I do say that. Well played, sir.
You do say that a lot. All right, moving on. How about Pittsburgh and Baltimore? Anything you want to talk about there?
So yeah, I mean they moved this game to Tuesday for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Meanwhile, they fucked the Broncos, which we'll talk about later.
Baltimore passed with the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. And it's a little. I'm not even a fan of Denver, and it pisses me off a little bit
Right.
that the Ravens seemingly got this pass. This game has now been moved twice, and I don't know how many games they've moved this year to COVID, but it hasn't been many.
Right.
I mean, it's been
and
a
they've been
few,
true
but
about
it hasn't been as many as I thought it was going to be when the season started. That's for sure.
I mean, I
But
think it's
there's
only
been
been
a
like
few.
4 or 5.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's a
Two
few
of them are the fucking Ravens.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the Steelers players, it was funny all week. They were like, "Oh, why they moved the game back for the Ravens? Why are they moving the game back for the Ravens?" And then the Steelers get like 3 or 4 positives coming in, and then all of those people are like, "Shut the fuck up, real quick."
Yeah, I mean that was the funny storyline throughout the week as well. But at the same time, you're just looking at, well, how does the NFL give the Ravens a pass?
Yeah,
So let's
why
go back-
would they? I mean, why would they?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a big conspiracy theorist.
Oh, I
but
am.
it
When it
does
comes
like
to
there's-
sports, I am. When it comes to sports, I am. I'll put my tinfoil hat on real fucking quick.
It's all about
Jesus.
ratings. Nobody
Right.
really wants to watch the Broncos in prime time, but
Right.
people want to see Lamar Jackson, so
Yeah.
they move it back.
I don't think that's accurate at all. I mean, the Broncos have one of the biggest. No, seriously, I mean, I don't know if it's just because I'm on the West Coast. The
Right.
Broncos have one of the biggest followings.
Well, no, I'm not talking shit about their fan base and shit. I'm talking more about like record wise and
Yeah,
shit
like
that.
the level of play.
Not even
think I
that.
just had a
More so
stroke.
the level of popularity.
Right. Right.
But that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
the Broncos are more popular than the Ravens.
But not to a like casual fan.
I don't know if that's true.
I think it is true.
I mean, there are a lot of Ravens fans like where I am, but that's because I'm near Baltimore. You know, I'm a couple hours out.
I
so-
mean, just in the last couple of years with the whole Lamar Jackson shit, I just think like the whole coming out party of that has been it's
Okay.
taken over more than
I don't
Drew
know.
Lock has.
I can't call
He's
that.
more-
I can't call
Lamar
that.
Jackson is more of a draw than Drew Lock.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's probably true. That's probably true. All right, well let's move on to the Chargers and the Buffalo game, which I did watch that game, and that fourth quarter was ridiculous. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see that game?
I did not. I was paying attention.
was
at the start,
ridiculous.
but I did not see the ending.
The
I
fourth
got
quarter,
involved
let
in
me
the
see if
penalty.
I can get this right. The fourth quarter, the Chargers are down like a touchdown. They're like 7 points out. And I think they throw an interception or they fumble the ball. Then Buffalo throws an interception and then they throw another interception and give the ball back to Buffalo again. Like literally one for like 4 times in a row. It was absolutely fucking ridiculous. And I'm over here like, because last week I was like, what do I get if I win? And I was like, oh my God, like please tie this game. And then for like 4 plays, it was just turnover after turnover. It was fucking ridiculous.
That sounds like an absolutely fucking ridiculous ending. It sounds like the game we were watching a couple weeks ago with the Reds. Ooh, Washington Football Club.
That was an amazing sound. Ooh. I don't remember the game you're talking about. Oh, yes, I do.
It was
yes, I do.
Smith got the ball back like 4 times. I think it was against the Giants.
Yeah, and he threw 2 interceptions in a row. Yes, I remember that game.
Yeah. It
Sorry,
sounds like that.
I derailed us. My bad.
No, you're good. Buffalo got the win 27-17 despite Allen's knee being a little bit of a concern. He missed some time and then came back. 18 of 24, 157 yards, a touchdown and interception. Also added a touchdown on the ground. Cole Beasley also threw a touchdown in for the Chargers. Air Bear, 31 of 52, 316 yards, a touchdown and a pick. And in Austin Eckler's return, he added 14 carries for just under 50 and 11 catches for 85 yards. So he picked up right where he left off in the receiving department.
Yeah, and going into that game, the coach said he was going to be used sparingly. He ended up having, like you mentioned, 129 yards from scrimmage between air and ground yards.
Yep.
And so they leaned on him heavily this week. Didn't seem to matter. Josh Allen was injured and then returned. And then the Bills are now 5-1 at home, so they do appear to have a home field advantage up there in Buffalo.
Absolutely.
All right.
Jumping through tables and shit.
Jumping through tables. All right. Well, let's move it on to the Tennessee Tits and the Colts. Why don't you start us off with that game, Dubs? Because I didn't really watch it, but I know it was. I know the Titans like whooped, right? That's what I heard.
Yeah,
anyway.
I was wrong. I picked the Colts. They didn't show up. It was almost like an exact flip of what happened in the first meeting, where like it looked close, and then the other team just sort of flipped it and won by like 20 points.
Right.
But Derrick Henry led the way for the Titans. He had 27 carries for 178 yards and 3 touchdowns. On my fantasy team, doesn't matter, getting smoked this week. A.J. Brown, 4 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. He also had a kick return for a touchdown. So those were 2 players that really elevated Tennessee. I mean, they had all of their fucking touchdowns. Phillip Rivers on the other side, 24 for 42, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Jacoby Brissett came in. I talked to him before. Beach was saying that Brissett was going to come in on certain drives, certain plays to ease the load on Rivers. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Hilton led the way in receiving, which he hasn't done like at all this season. So
ever?
Yeah, literally. So despite Indy losing, there's a few bright spots there, but Tennessee picks up the win and now leads the AFC South.
Yeah, man, that was an interesting game to watch because I picked the Colts last week as well, and we just were wrong. We didn't know which version of the Titans would show up, the one that showed up the last 2 weeks or the one that showed up prior to that. So
it was
we both got fooled a little bit there. And their run game took advantage of 2 key linebackers being out for the Colts. Like you mentioned, they could not stop King Henry.
Nope.
Just absolutely killed it in fantasy. And then the Colts brought in Brissett usually to run. It seemed like they brought him in on 4th and 1 and then 2 touchdowns. So really to run, but it was a weird mix-in for them. But that seemed to be when they made magic happen, when they brought him in. So It'd be interesting to see how much of him they use going forward and how much of their game plan he will be going forward.
For sure.
Also, it looks like Trey Burton's the new favorite target. It looked like Mo Alley Cox earlier in the year.
They just cycle.
Trey Burton has been getting most of the touches the last couple of weeks, it seems like.
And the last 2 weeks, Michael Pittman was starting to show up as their number 1 receiver, and now we got no action from him, and T.Y. Hilton's back. Hines has been really their only consistent pass catcher, and he's a running back.
Yeah, and he's like great running the ball, too. I mean, he has these games where he just looks like a monster.
Yeah, I like Hines. He's been pretty good this season, and he was decent last year, too, in his rookie year.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry. What was the final score?
45-26 Tits.
Damn, you were right. All right, so let's move it on. We got Carolina and Minnesota. I did watch a bit of that game. It was interesting. I think you both picked the Vikings, though, right?
No, I picked the Panthers because I wasn't being a bitch.
Right. That was
and
the
didn't
one,
need a
right?
caveat that
Right.
Bridgewater would
The
start.
caveat game. This shall go down in history as the caveat game.
Which I would have lost if you guys let me do what I wanted to do last week. Because
Yeah, so we
Teddy
helped you
Bridgewater-
out, bro. We helped you out. We
You
got your
did.
back, boy.
You did, and that's why Meech is gonna have to refer to it as the caveat game.
Yeah, you finally tied our record up this week. I was one pick ahead of you going into this week. You have managed to tie up the lead thanks to the caveat game.
The caveat game.
Minnesota picks up the win 28-27. Bridgewater did play, like we said, 19 for 26, 217 yards, a touchdown and a pick in his return to Minnesota. He connected with Robbie Anderson on that touchdown, who had 4 catches and 94 yards, and reestablishes himself in the top 5 for receiving yards this season. On the other end, Justin Jefferson slips into the top 5 in receiving with 7 catches and 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Vikings had 4 receivers with 7+ catches, despite Thielen being out.
Yeah, and really, I mean, after a rough start, Cousins rebounded. He had a fumble that was turned into a touchdown for the defense.
Minnesota
kinda
had
looked-
3 fumbles and still got the win.
Yeah, you know Zimmer's raging in that locker room with how many fumbles that team gives up. He has to just be angry as hell all the time. But yeah, he rebounded from a rough start. And Justin Jefferson, every time I see him, I just shed one single tear because that's who we passed up to get Jalen Reagor, who hasn't been healthy most of the year and hasn't looked overly impressive when he has been healthy compared to Justin Jefferson. So I'm a little,
guys are
I'm a little
like us
sour
in
on
the
that
rest-
every time I see him.
You guys are like the Pats on the receiver drafting standpoint because we just miss every time.
Yeah, you mean the worst? Because Howie's track record is horrible. It's exactly like Bill's.
Bills
drafting
isn't great
receivers.
with receivers either, dude. We can't draft one to save our fucking life. All Harry does is run block and drop fucking balls. That's what I tweeted out today. Somebody was like,
he was
"What does
supposed to be
N'Keal
the
Harry
next
do for
Wunder
this
kid
team?"
there.
I was super high on him, and he's absolutely fucked me.
Yeah, and then Cook left, but I believe Cook
Yeah.
came back in this game as well.
Yeah, he still had 18 carries, but he was not as effective as he normally was. Only 61 yards on his touches.
For sure. And then let's move on to the Browns and the Jags.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, there was something that happened. I can't remember what it was, but there was some play that happened that I was like, well, that's fucked. But
Hey,
I
I
can't
know
remember
what it
was.
is.
Yeah, hit me.
Baker had a wide open Jarvis Landry in the end zone and like rolled out to his left instead of just staying in the pocket, and then saw him too late and tried to readjust on the fly and overthrew him and missed a completely wide open touchdown.
Yeah, that's what it
that was
There
Higgins.
Yeah.
That was Higgins.
Yeah, there was something. I remember watching the game like while I was cleaning, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, I tweeted about it. I said, usually I'm a big Baker guy, but this guy just missed the widest open man. I think they did like a StatCast thing, and he had 10 yards of separation in between. Like the next nearest defender was 10 yards away from him.
Yeah, and Landry was his only target today, really. 8 catches on 143 of Baker's 258 passing yards. But on the
Yeah,
ground,
well, I mean, finally, fantasy owners of Jarvis Landry rejoice. I gave him up already, but he has had a disappointing year to say the least.
agreed. But the run game has just overshadowed the passing game in Cleveland. They have 200 rushing yards again this week. Chubb is averaging 102 yards per game on the ground, and he added 144 more today with a touchdown.
Yeah, man. I mean, that rush attack is just disgusting. 206 total yards between Chubb and Hunt. And it's so dangerous to have both of those two guys on a roster. Chubb looks like the better one, obviously. But, Hunt's no slouch when you bring him in to rest Chubb.
Yeah, exactly. When you take out your workhorse back who's averaging 100 yards per game, you don't expect the guy to replace him to be able to do the same thing. And that's exactly what Cleveland has.
Yeah, and it's really made Baker better, I think. I think he's better when he doesn't have to try and do too much. He's better. And so that rushing attack is just like dangerous. And then meanwhile on the other side, the rushing attack looked dangerous as well. James Robinson once again single-handedly keeps the Jags in the game.
Yeah, he's a monster. I mean, Glennon didn't even do bad today. Fucking Mike Glennon's starting in an NFL game again. Look at that shit. 20 of 35, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. But like you said, the star was James Robinson, 22 for 128 and a touchdown. And again, like you said, he's carried that team to even being in contention. They've lost 10 in a row, but some of them would have been absolute blowouts if it weren't.
He's making them not look like the Jets right now. That's what he's doing.
Right. Yeah, we would have 2 Jets.
Yeah. There would be 2 teams that were clearly the worst in football without Robinson. He has made them close in every game, and the ability to run the ball has really opened up the very little passing attack that exists there. But he's just powering through, once again, an undrafted rookie. So, like, this is why you don't spend draft capital. I know I say it every episode, but God, every time I see his numbers, I'm just like, and Hunt as well. Hunt was the same way. Kareem Hunt was undrafted as well. So, or actually, he might have been like a 4th round pick or something.
I think he was.
I'll look into it.
I want to say he was a 7th round pick.
Yeah, but I mean, you can find value at the running back position. There's no need to go out and spend huge draft capital or re-sign like Zeke did, because that never looks good on that next contract. But yeah, the Browns have found a way to win games that in previous years they would lose. And yeah, they're not all convincing. They haven't been pretty the last 4 weeks. They've been dealing with weather basically, but they're finding ways to win games that usually the Browns lose.
Kareem Hunt was the 86th overall pick, apparently.
Okay, so like 2nd round, something like that then.
Yeah.
3rd.
Yeah. All right, so let's move it on once again to the Giants and the Cincinnati game. That was
the shit show of the week.
Yeah.
19-17, the Giants pick up their 4th win of the season. Daniel Jones went out with an injury.
Yes, he did.
I honestly don't know if that's a positive or a negative for the Giants.
Well, it's a negative for the show because there'll be no sad boy shots in the future.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, it looked like a negative. You bring in Colt McCoy, pew pew. I wish that man was awesome at his job, because a starting quarterback with the name Colt McCoy would just
he was so good at Texas. He was so good at Texas.
It sounds like one of those like old like 40s, 1950s like really dope ass baseball players. That's
We're
what
gonna
that
throw
name
Colt
sounds
McCoy
like.
out there.
You know what I mean? Colt McCoy
Center
sounds like
field,
an amazing.
It's Colt McCoy.
Exactly. Like sounds like an amazing baseball player.
Playing center field, Colt McCoy.
Leading the league with 12 home runs, it's Colt McCoy.
But yeah, no, so Colt McCoy came in and did not look like a positive, because Daniel Jones rushed. And once again, teach these people to slide. That's all you have to do. Because he came out after a rushing attempt where he rushed and I believe got the first down, but it was grimacing and grabbing his ankle area. Tried to come back in the game, and he was not successful in coming back. So we'll see what the injury report is after the game. But
probably
it
like a
doesn't look like
hamstring
a
or
positive.
something. It's probably like a hamstring. Could be like an Achilles or something though.
Yeah, no, it was lower. It was definitely ankle, Achilles, but I don't know if it was Achilles or not. Like I said, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out.
It definitely looked worse without Danny Dimes. So however you feel about him, he does look like a better quarterback than Colt McCoy. So
one result from that, if Wayne Gallman is available in your fantasy league, I would pick him up. Now that Jones possibly missing time, they're going to be relying on him even more. And he had 24 carries today for 94 yards and a touchdown. And meet your boy, Evan Ingram, 6 catches for $129, but he did have a pretty ridiculous fumble.
Dude, he's a clown. He was supposed to be the next great pass catching tight end, and he's been mostly a disappointment. Finally had a decent day, but like you said, fumbled. And it's just like whenever you need him to make a big catch or whenever you need him to make a big play, he can't do it. Like he'll make plays, but when it's a big moment, just like with the fumble, it was a huge moment to fumble. It's totally switched the momentum. And every week this guy disappoints, and I threw that out on Twitter too. I was like, man, he just continually disappoints. So those numbers look good overall. And fantasy-wise, his numbers look good, but this guy's just not as advertised, I feel like.
I'd agree with that. You know what just really gets me down in the fucking dumps?
Huh.
Seeing Brandon Allen playing quarterback for the Bengals and not my boy Joe Burrow.
Yeah, although I'll say one thing. It seems like they're actually playing harder now than they were. Like, they've looked like a way more competitive team the last I guess this week he went out last week, I guess. But like the last 2 games, they've really looked like a better team than they did previously. So like I feel like almost they were like, we got to win it for Joe because they played pretty solid today against the Giants.
Hey, Cincy, draft a fucking line.
All right, this is the game I've been waiting to get to for you, Double. So the Cardinals playing in DK mode as always against the Pats. That was I actually didn't watch this game either. So why don't you like talk me through what happened?
All right. So Cam Newton played like fucking asshole. 9 for 18, 84 yards and 2 picks. Even the running attack wasn't great. Like our offense fucking sucked today. We had 2 players with receiving yards. 2.
Oh,
Damier Bird and Jacoby Myers were the only ones with positive receiving yards. James White had 1 catch for -1 yards, but though only 3 people with catches.
Jesus!
Did those
Harris-
guys happen to be your first round pick?
No.
What was
One
the
was-
score?
2017, New England won on another game-winning kick from my boy, big kick Nick Folk. Fucking hits from 50 yards again for the win.
Yeah, what is that,
which
like 4 weeks in a row we've mentioned
I-
his name?
Yeah, he's all over Nick Foles.
He's doing it. He keeps. If there was one
Yeah,
person
right.
I could have picked on the Patriots, like that I wouldn't have picked on the Patriots to like win us games this year. it
Become
would
your
have been Nick
favorite
fucking
Patriots
Folk.
player?
Yeah, it would be Nick. Folk.
We should buy him a jersey for Christmas, Meech.
Yeah. Big
It's gotta
big
say
kick Nick.
Kick Nick, yeah. And like I said, the Pats' only chance of staying in this one was containing Kyler Murray. They did that. Arizona had 4.3 yards per play, which was a season low for them. So that was a huge turnaround from not being able to stop Deshaun Watson last week. Kyler, 23 of 34, 170, and a pick. DeAndre Hopkins had 5 for 55 with Stephon Gilmore draped all over him all day. Yeah, Pats rebounded, looked pretty good on defense. Offense still sucks, but another positive is the rookies are starting to play well. Uche did well. Kyler Duggar played well, so starting to put
I
it
didn't watch
together,
much
but-
of this game because it wasn't really on Red Zone because
Yeah.
it was terrible.
Yeah, same.
But,
That's why I didn't either.
Terrible.
Absolutely
But,
horrible.
But I mean, I'll tell you one thing: Steven Belichick with that fucking mullet he's got going from the 1980s.
My
Someone,
Yeah, I
give
saw
him
that
a
shit and I
haircut.
was like,
No.
whoa!
That his fucking mullet is what makes Steve Belichick Steve Belichick.
Yeah, it has like fairy dust in it. Like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is this shit, dude? Like, we got
That's where he keeps his
It's like
play
some,
calls.
it's like some shit like one of us would have on GTA, you know?
Yeah, for real.
dude. Yeah, this man is literally a GTA 5 character, bro, with a fucking mullet on the
He looks like the
sideline.
rednecks
Jesus
up
Christ.
in the desert.
Can we also talk about how Meech about like a minute and a half ago just went, I'll tell you what.
I tell you
Well,
what.
I'll tell you what.
That's
tell you
fucking
what.
amazing.
Because I had a football coach growing up, like in high school. I had a football coach, and he was from my area, Bakersfield. He was from
right,
there.
right.
And I swear to God, he sounded like he was from the deep south. Oh, boy, I'll tell you what.
Well,
I'll tell you what.
I'm
Stick your
from
dickadoo
the
in the
deep
ground.
south, and I had a football coach. Oh my god, I think his name was Ackerman was his last name, and he would always he would be like, "Come on, I know you know it. We've been over in practice 100 times." Like literally just like that, like every fucking practice. So it got to the point where we would start like fucking up on purpose in practice just to hear him say it. Coach Ackerman, what up? What's happening, bro?
Dude.
Shout out to Coach Ackerman.
Dude, this coach, this defensive coach said, I go, how low do you want us to get to try and get past the offensive lineman?
Right.
Because I want your dickadoo to be in the ground. I was like, I don't think that's like that's an answer for how low I should be. Yes. Okay, Jesus.
I tell you what, I want your dick dude to be in the ground.
He was so southern, but anyway, yeah, like that's just. Yeah, that's if high school football coaches all sound like they're from Texas. Right?
Dude,
They're all,
what's up with
they're
that?
all fucking caricatures. They're
What's
just
up with
ridiculous
that?
people.
Oh, it's like a fucking prerequisite for the job or something.
Yeah, you have to be a cartoon character to be a
Yeah.
football coach. A high school football coach. excuse me.
Is there anything else with the Arizona New England game y'all want to talk about?
No, but we can move on to another team or another 2 teams in the competitive AFC East over there. The Dolphins and the Benny and the Jets.
0-11. Fucking New York Jets are the worst team, maybe to grace a football field since the 0-16 Lions.
They're
Dude,
so
I
bad.
think we need to do
They're
some
so
research because we were talking a couple
Historically
episodes ago,
bad.
yeah, that they're historically bad. I want to check that before next episode and see if they are actually like legitimately historically bad. Because I know you said they were like at an all-time low for like rushing and receiving and some interceptions. Maybe
I remember last week they didn't have that might have changed this week because Frank Gore's been pretty decent, but they didn't
Right.
have a running back over 250 yards on the season.
Yeah, like I want to check that. Anyway, I derailed us again. I'm sorry. You can get back to your analysis.
Analysis: Sam Darnold 2 picks, 16 of 27 for 197. Like I said, Frank Gore was pretty decent, 18 for 74, and the Jets did add 4 sacks. But my question for you guys from this is, with Darnold playing just shitty, do you draft Trevor Lawrence #1 and try to move Darnold to a team like I don't know, the Bears, something like that?
100%. That's what I do. At this point, that's what I do.
Yeah, I think everyone's in total agreement.
Yeah.
That's what their plan is. I think if you are there for Trevor Lawrence, you got to take him. Now, you should also learn your goddamn lesson. They have multiple picks. Maybe draft a couple linemen in there because they've got one at left tackle.
Yeah, Becton. That guy's a fucking brick shit.
Yeah,
house.
but
He's
you
like
need more than
7'5"
one.
and like 533 pounds.
Yeah, just learn from the past mistakes of other teams, the Colts and the Bengals. Put a line in front of Trevor Lawrence, please.
Yep.
Yeah, like
The
you said, you
Giants
need
with
more than
Barkley.
one. You need more than one, like you said.
You
Beach.
definitely,
Yeah.
you definitely need to build a line in front of the man. Also, I was thinking, so we brought up the Lions fired their coach and GM. Falcons have already fired their coach and GM.
Right.
Texans fired their coach and GM. I mean, same person, Bill O'Brien, for that one. And then the Jags just fired their GM as well. Marone's still around or employed as of right now. But do the Jets make a change now? It seemed to make a positive change in both the Falcons and the Texans organizations. They look like different teams that are playing on an everyday basis now.
Yeah, I mean,
They
I think they
don't-
should have made a change a long time ago, like
I
weeks
think they
ago.
should have. Yeah, agreed. And now that they haven't, I think you just stick with Gase and try to go
Ride it out. Yeah. Yeah, I think like I'm with you. Like they definitely need to change it up, but I think Double makes a good point. You should probably just ride it out at this point.
I want him out of my building. I don't want
Right.
him in my building right now. Like,
He
Oh, I
might
get
shoot
it.
How
up.
bad he
He
is.
might shoot
I
it
get
up.
it. I get it. I mean, I'm here for that. I'm just saying, like, maybe you do just right. I mean, like, what's his contract like?
He's been there a while now. It's
Yeah,
gotta
that's
be-
what I'm saying. Like, because if you're getting towards the end of it, just fucking
I
ride
think
it
this
out.
is only his second year.
I think it is
No.
too. I think it is too. I'll check it.
I
I'll
think
check
it's
it.
third at least. I'm pretty sure it's third. Because
Because
Flores, wasn't there a coach between Gase and Flores, like for 1 year in Miami?
I don't
And this
know.
is his
No.
I
second
fucking
year.
don't know. Gase got a
No.
4-year contract, so it would be a 2-year buyout. But great podcasting.
Yeah, I mean, I just think no matter what the details on the contract are, I think I want him out of my. No, I want him out of my building. It's toxic
yeah.
culture that he has. Get him the hell out of my building, and maybe we can look like the Falcons or the Texans and maybe give our fans a glimmer of hope that we're looking towards next year and we have some promising young players on the roster. Like, it just, other than that, I just feel like everyone talks about Gase getting fired every week, and it
No, he
just
doesn't.
doesn't make sense to me why he's still there.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I can't find when he started with the Jets. I can't.
It doesn't matter.
It
I mean,
doesn't
it
matter
really
at
matter.
all. At
So
all.
so let's go to a team that did make that change and has looked better. You and me were both wrong in this one because, as we've talked about this season, it just seems so inconsistent. The Raiders and the Falcons,
The Dirty
Falcons
Birds.
drum them up.
The Dirty Birds
Yeah.
laid a dirty dickin' on
It
the
was
fucking
fucking
Raiders.
ridiculous.
43-6, and honestly, it was like really their defense. Matt Ryan didn't look that great. They didn't run for that many yards. Like, Ryan was 22 for 39, 185, 2 touchdowns and a pick. I want to say Ridley led the way receiving, and he didn't even have like 60 yards. Ito
But he
Smith had
also
60
came out of the
yards
game at a
rushing.
certain point.
Yeah, he did, but he still led them in receiving. Deion Jones had a pick six that got Falcons some points, and Las Vegas was just completely stuffed. The run game has been what propelled them all season. Josh Jacobs was 7 for 27. Derek Carr couldn't get going. Devontae Freeman couldn't go. Not Devontae Freeman. Royce Freeman couldn't get going, and they looked like just pathetic. They had Nathan Peterman playing quarterback for a possession. He's 3 for 5. No picks. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean that might be the one game he hasn't thrown a pick that he's been a part of. I swear to God.
Normally,
I don't know why Gruden loves him, but Gruden loves Nathan Peterman.
The 3 for 5 is normally how many interceptions he had per throw, like 3 picks, 5 throws. But
Right.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, yeah, this team, and this is why I don't like Gruden. But the last 2 weeks he's proved me wrong, and then this week I see what I see a lot. I feel like it's just an uninspired team, can't move the football. And I feel like a lot of it is coaching. I mean, you saw Joe Judge go for it 4 times. He went for it on 4th down, and Gallman got stuffed the 3 times before that, but made it in on the 4th one. Like, you have Josh Jacobs just pound the ball over and over and over again. I get that it's 3rd down. You were still very close to scoring a touchdown in like one of the first possessions of that game. And you didn't. You settled for a field goal, and I feel like that play demoralized the offense a little bit. I mean, you go for it, just go for it. It's horrible field positioning for them if you turn the ball over.
I'm with you. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nail gun.
Wow.
The Necronomicon.
All right, how about the Saints-Broncos game?
Beach has plenty to say here.
Yeah, I mean, this was the pick that I lost. Like, this is the pick you gain back, and this is just crappy, dude. Like, honestly, a day ago, they announced that all of the quarterbacks have tested positive or had a close contact or whatever the fuck it was. It was bullshit, was what it was. And I'm not even a Broncos fan. I'm not a Broncos fan. I am just like, how do you not let them have a quarterback going into a game?
Yeah.
And yet you move heaven and earth for the Ravens.
I'm with you 100%, dude. That's some fucking bullshit.
Their quarterback that they ended up throwing in was a practice squad wide receiver who's also a rookie out of Wake Forest. He played quarterback at Wake Forest, had a just completion percentage just over 50, which isn't super hot. He
It's
went
terrible for
9,
today's game.
1 of 9, 13 yards, 2 picks.
Ugh. Ugh.
Saints beat them 31-3. Taysom Hill didn't even look good, but they just ran all over him. They had over 200 yards rushing between Murray, Kamara, and Taysom Hill. Defense did their work not even work. They just picked apart a stray fucking baby deer just in headlights.
I feel bad for him, though, dude. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, and Vic Fangio's not in danger of losing that job or anything, but that's a shitty move on the NFL's part. I feel like
For sure.
The Saints just slapped them, dude.
And again, the Broncos will have that excuse. They can just be like, "Well, you made us fucking get smacked by the Saints."
Yeah.
They'll probably come out next week healthy and with a fucking chip on their shoulder. Next week, you want to pick the Broncos, Mitch? Might be a good one.
All right, let's move on to the San Francisco and the Rams game, which was still going on, I believe, when we started recording. So what's the update on that?
It just ended.
What's the score? What's the score? What's the score?
I'm trying to find it.
I still have it as 18 seconds.
Oh, yeah, 18 seconds, 2020, 49ers with the ball.
It's 20-20?
Yeah, it's fucking tight game, boys. Oh,
bro.
God.
What are you, a football coach now? It's 2020.
It's 2020.
2020.
Hey, I'm from the South, man. I can't help that shit. Fuck off. We've been over practice 100 times. It's clock management. Come on now.
The best play from that game, though, is the pick 6 from Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah. I mean, like I said to you off air, bro, like, I think I'm just going to stay a Rams fan. I can't help it. I just can't. Like, I see the uniforms and I'm like, no, that's my team. So, like, I think I'm just going to stay a Rams fan. So you can give up on trying to convince me to be a Chargers fan.
I can, but I won't.
Oh, Jesus. He will not give up on this endeavor.
Okay, all right. Well, let's check back on that game in a second and see what the
Yeah,
score
we'll
was.
check out the Chiefs.
What's going
Bucks
on
right
in
now
the
because that one is not as close.
Right.
Chiefs are leading 27-17 with 4 minutes to go. Bucks have turned it around in the second half, but it's
as we knew they
they
would.
let up right, but they let up too much in the first half. It's not
Yeah.
gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
Mahomes has nearly 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kelsey has 12 catches for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns right now. So
Seriously?
if you have him on your fantasy team, you won. Not Kelsey. Excuse
I was
me.
down
Excuse
100.
me. I didn't say. I meant to say Hill, not Kelsey.
Oh.
Tyreek Hill is.
The disappointment in Meech's voice. Oh.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is currently ravaging my asshole. In
Yeah, he
fantasy.
has 56 points. in
Yeah, he
fantasy.
wiped. The guy I'm going against. Shout out Nick Grasser. 179 points right now.
Yeah,
And
the team I'm facing, because every week this guy has everyone I face has the highest points. He's at 214 right now.
That's brutal. That's fucking brutal. You're getting ravaged.
Yeah, like I mean, we said it
Yeah.
off air. Like the Bucks are a fourth quarter, or Brady's really like a fourth quarter quarterback. I think
Fourth
Meech
quarter
is the
guy.
one who really said that the first time. But yeah, like you said, it's just
Oh,
too
I
little,
think the
too
Bucks
late.
just scored.
Uh
They
oh.
did. Touchdown.
Uh-oh.
Down 3 now.
Uh oh.
Brady has 2 picks today. I saw a stat at the start of that game. It was like quarterbacks interception numbers in their first season with Bruce Arians, and it was Tim Couch, Andrew Luck, Jameis Winston, and Carson Palmer. Palmer was the only one to not throw 20 interceptions in their first year with Bruce
I
Arians.
fucking forgot about Tim Couch.
The Couch?
The Couch. I totally forgot
The
about Tim fucking
Master.
Couch. All right, so
No. Another forgotten Browns quarterback. Just sad and forgotten Browns quarterback. But as long as the Chiefs hold on, we're gonna end in a tie here. And I think either way we will, right?
you mean
'Cause
in
we still-
picks?
Yeah, because Meech had the
Yeah,
Chiefs
we
too,
both
right?
have the Chiefs in this
Okay.
game, and we both have the Packers for the Bears game too. So
Yeah, how do you think that game's gonna go?
I'm on the Packers. Like we said, we're both on the Packers. I think it's gonna. I feel like every time they play, it's kind of low scoring.
Yeah.
Like you'll check in on the Bears Packers game, like, oh, forgot they're playing. Let's see what the fucking score is.
Well, like
10
we've said
it's like
before, I
10-7
feel
in
like
the fourth.
anytime the Bears are playing, like it's just their defense trying to keep the team in the game. So
Right.
like it's kind of like inevitable with them. I feel like, unless of course they just get like stomped on.
Which is a possibility. I mean,
Yeah.
Rodgers might just go out and pick apart their secondary, but
For sure.
I'm willing to bet it's probably going to be a low scoring, pretty close game. But I will take. I mean, it comes down to the quarterback. I'm going to take Rodgers over Foles.
Yeah. Yeah.
actually, Trubisky's getting the start. Foles is injured from
That's
that
right,
hit that he
actually,
got
yeah,
carted
you're
off
right.
last week. So Trubisky will get the start. This game starts in a little under, right about an hour from now.
I
That
totally
we're
forgot about
recording
Foles.
this, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this game goes down for sure because Trubisky will start, and I
you think he
believe
earns
the
the-
last time he started, they were winning.
Does he think he earns the job back if he does well?
I mean, maybe they've already basically moved on from him by benching him so far this year. But
Right.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously, I think Matt Nagy just wants a win at this point, and the quarterback that can give him that will get the start.
49ers just won 23-20. They moved
Oh.
to 5-6. Birdie's Rams will fall to 7-4. Mullins had 24 for 35, 253 yards and a pick. Mostert returned with 43 yards on the ground, and they kind of just give it. It's like running back by committee. There has been since
Right.
Shanahan got there. It's the name of his game. Debo Samuel 11 catches for 134. The next highest person for receiving was 3 catches. So Debo Samuel is the only target out there today for the Niners. And on the Rams side, Jared Goff threw 2 picks, like we touched on earlier. One was to Kinlaw, the rookie D tackle out of South Carolina. That was a fucking awesome play.
Did y'all
And
pick the 49ers for that game?
No, we
No.
both picked the Rams.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say because I was like, yeah, Rams are gonna win that game. Look at that,
Remember
that's
we were
fucking
talk-
crazy.
They have like 30 fucking injuries.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah. You're right. I do remember
touched on
having
that
that
last week.
conversation. Yeah, for sure.
You
I
do
forget what
really
the exact
love
number was.
the pairing of the coach and the GM here. I mean, these two guys look like they're still fighting, even though they have no chance of winning
Right.
the NFC
Right.
West. I
Yeah,
mean, it's the
gotta
most
respect
competitive
it.
division in football, and yet they're still scratching and clawing to try and fucking get back there, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that division is always one of my like favorite to see how playoff picture pans out, because it does always feel like there's always like 3 teams from that division every year are close.
It's
to a
funny
playoff
because
spot.
this is my argument whenever someone talks about the NFC East this year, it's all cyclical. Like, this division used to be shit.
Yeah.
Used to be shit, and now it's been the best division the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, well, we can recap the Chicago Green Bay game on the next show. But
Yeah, we'll
now
hit
you
that
know
one
what time it
Wednesday.
is, Double. You know what time it is?
I do. It's time for the preview.
Preview.
It's time to preview some games.
Oh God! Please stop.
We're gonna preview the Eagles. The Eagles preview.
This is the worst.
And it is
Best part of
an
the show.
Eags preview, the Eags and the Seahawks. So why don't you start us off, Meech, since it is in your neck of the fandom woods, as they say, or do they say that? I don't know if anyone's ever said that. I said it.
Just said it for the first time now.
I don't know. I think people say it. People say it.
Whatever.
They do.
Fuck
coined the
you,
phrase.
Meech. I coined the phrase. Fuck you. Take
who
your
coined the
pick,
phrase?
motherfucker.
Yeah, so my Eagles versus the Seahawks. I mean, this is the problem with the Eagles.
Mhm.
They will look like shit, and then in the last few years, I think they've shown they haven't been a great team, but they just find ways to win games like this that they have no
Right.
business winning.
Yeah.
You know, the Seahawks have to go across coast again to the Eagles' house, and so they have another cross coast road trip. The schedule maker has not been nice to them. They have had so many trips to the East. It's kind of crazy, but at the end of the day, the Seahawks are going to win this. The Eagles can't stop the run. The Seahawks just got Carlos Hyde back last week, and that already looked to make a huge impact. We'll see if Chris Carson comes back this week. I haven't seen anything.
Chris
on
Carson
him.
is returning. They expect him
Okay,
to. At
so
least.
they'll have Hyde and Carson back, so that rush attack should be formidable again. And like I said, the Eagles cannot stop the run to save their life.
They can't stop the run, and they also can't stop the pass rush. They've given out the most sacks this season with 40. Since trading for Carlos Dunlap from Cincinnati, he's had 3 sacks in 3 games with Seattle, including that game-winning sack against Arizona a few weeks back in primetime. Seattle gives up a ton of yards, which I think will ring true with what you said, Meech. Eagles have no business winning games that they win, but I don't think they're going to win this one. I think it's just going to be close. Seattle, 420 yards allowed per game, but they also, 446 yards allowed per game. They get 420 yards. They almost allow 500 yards per game. That's crazy.
Yeah, but we won't touch that. And like you said, the defensive
exactly.
line has been great for the Seahawks, but the offensive line for the Eagles is currently in shambles. Lane
You've
Johnson
had 10
out for the
different
year.
starters at offensive line this year.
How many?
10.
Yeah. Lane Johnson out for the year. He's been battling injuries all year. I've talked about it. He goes on and out of the sideline every game, it seems like, and all Eagles fans know what I'm talking about. I love Lane Johnson. He's a great tackle, but it seems like he always has injuries, but apparently he has a couple pretty severe ones this year. He will not be playing the rest of the year. They moved Jason Peters, who also is oft injured, from left tackle, which we restructured his salary to accommodate after he wasn't supposed to be at left tackle starting the year. We move him back to right guard. So we'll have a new left tackle. We'll have a no right tackle. And, our offensive line is, and then Peters is questionable on top of that. So he might not even start at guard. Our offensive line is falling apart. Jason Kelce left last week's game, but the man of all men, Jason Kelce will probably be on the field for the game.
And also would
Monday
be his 100th straight start.
Yeah, he's a fucking monster. Me and everyone else in Philly land loves this man. He is as durable as they come. He's the captain of the offensive line. He's just the best.
To add what you said, I think the Seahawks it's going to be a ideal scenario for Chris Carson to return. The Eagles give up 133 yards per game on the ground. I think the defensive line is going to feast. I do think the Eagles are going to keep it close because of Seattle's defense being a complete liability other than the pass rush. But give me the Seahawks. I think it'll be close. Seahawks win.
I'm going to take the Eagles. What do I get if I win? Give me a PS5. You buy me a PS5 if I win.
You get a cookie.
I don't want a cookie. I want a PS5. All right.
This guy makes like one pick a week, and all of a sudden he wants something for his goddamn
Every
pick.
single time you make one pick, you're like, what do I get if I win? What do I get if I win?
Me and Dubs are sitting here slogging through picks of games in the most inconsistent year that has happened, and you make one pick and want a fucking trophy.
Hey,
for it.
come on,
Jesus.
man. That's know your role, bro. That's your role. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us on
Know
this
your role and
episode.
close us out.
Yeah, fuck you. That's gonna do it for us on this episode of Stone Sports. Thanks for listening.
7 comes to a close.
Episode 7 comes to a close. Follow us on all social media. That's Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. It's all Stone Sports Podcast. One of these days I'm going to remember them all right off the bat, and it's going to sound really good. Is there anything else you want to say, boys, before we go? Anything else you want to talk about?
El fin.
Okay. Double?
That just means the end in Spanish. I just said the end in Spanish. It was probably horribly pronounced, but el fin.
Okay. All right. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Peace.
Light is...